everybody, and welcome back to Chart Request Live. I am Sam Gatlin, an analyst at All Star Charts, and I'm joined by my very esteemed colleague and co-host, Mr. Alfonso de Pablos, in a freezing cold Spain today. Alfonso, how are you doing?
What's up, Sam? How's everyone going today?
Dude, doing good and really enjoying this bull market rotation. You know, they keep buying healthcare stocks. Alfonso, have you noticed?
Yeah, I have been aware of that. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I showed up a chart of XLV relative to IWV. That's the Russell 3000. And what a most logical place for healthcare or large cap healthcare to, you know, assume some leadership role than that place, right?
Totally, Alfonso. And it's not just like a large cap healthcare. Like, you know, you're seeing all the big boys get rotated into. You saw Eli Lilly hit a $1 trillion market cap for the first
Bro,
time last
beautiful.
week. But man, you're seeing it across the cap scale. It's the same story in small cap healthcare, which is not just biotech. You have a lot of different kinds of healthcare stocks inside of here, and you can see this is also coming off of a major former low, a little scoop and score setup here. Failed to hold that breakdown, and now you're ripping higher again. So, you know, we've
No, that
seen this rotation into healthcare for several weeks. It's been really aggressive, but man, looking at this chart of XLV, I, I don't know, Alfonso. This could be a bigger move here in healthcare. You know, we're right
Yeah,
at a
no, no, no.
key
I
Fibonacci
completely
extension line.
agree. Yeah, I completely agree. And it started with, biotech has been leading the way higher. Pharmaceuticals stocks have been, performing very well. And right now, just look at medical devices ETF. It's trying to break out of a small base. So I think there is something in the medical devices next for healthcare.
Totally, man. I'm really into the med tech right now. Some of the best setups in the market are in this industry. So maybe we'll get some people to drop some med tech tickers in the chat today. I see everyone's in the chat today, blowing it up. We've got Larry Thompson in the house. I'm a huge
Yeah,
fan of yours,
man. What's up,
LP.
Larry?
You're the man. We've got John. We've got Zerb in the house. We've got Thomas. So this is Chart Request Live. As you guys know, this is where you bring the tickers and we provide the charts. So drop your tickers in the chat, and if we don't get to them today, you can email us questions at stockmarketmedia.com, and we will throw your ticker in the mailbag. So we'll be sure to get to it in the next episode of Chart Request Live. But today, I know we have a stacked mailbag today, so let's get into it, Alfonso. What
Yeah,
is the
let's
first
start.
ticker today?
Okay, the first ticker today is Spotify. Let's take a look at that one.
The Spotify. You know, just fundamentally, I'm kind of a Spotify bear. I think it was about a year and a half ago, I switched from Spotify to YouTube Music, and let me tell you
And do
guys,
you do
I'm a
you
huge fan.
prefer that?
I'm into it. I don't want to go back to Spotify. I'm really a very happy
Okay, but
YouTube customer.
what's the difference between the
It's
two?
just better, a better algorithm. You know,
Okay,
Google has it figured out.
just look at
So,
the stock of Google.
man, Google is such a beast. I saw Ricardo just tweeted a chart of Google, most extended it's been from its long-term mean ever. So, you know, it's been a huge winner out of the Mag 7, but maybe a time for some cool down in the Google. But we're talking about Spotify, Alfonso. Quit getting us sidetracked. So, relative to the S&P 500, Spotify is failing miserably at the prior cycle peaks and rolling over. We can zoom in on a little more tactical top
Yeah.
here. This is how
Ooh.
you draw it up in textbooks, Alfonso. This looks
Yep.
really gross. So not a leader here in Spotify. And then the absolute trend doesn't look great either. I mean, it's not quite a resolved top, but I think that's where it's heading. You can draw a nice little trend line from the lows here.
Yep, already
He's
broke.
broken that decisively.
Also drove an extension from the 2021 peak and the 2022 lows. We have the 161 right there around 580, and I think that's the area, right?
Totally, yeah. And you have an oversold momentum reading. The 14-day RSI is at 25. So like, if you want to be tactical with it, like, yeah, this is probably a nice place for a bounce, but structurally, this looks like shit. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I think this is rolling over into a more structural distribution pattern, and it likely has further room to the downside. So, depends on what your time frame is with a chart like this. Did they mention that in the email, Alfonso?
No time frame, but I was looking for, also if you drop a VWAP from November 2024 earnings reaction, prices right there violating that area of support, that line of support as well. That also coincides around the 161. So that 161 for me, it's a big level for the buyers to dig in here.
Totally, yeah. So far, we're not seeing it, but again, momentum's super oversold here. You're probably due for a little bounce. Looks like you've had like 5-6 consecutive down days, but structurally, not a good look for Spotify, and fundamentally, not a fan of Spotify. I like the YouTube music. Shout out to Google. What's next, Alfonso?
Now let's take a look at Dominion Energy.
Okay, this is a, let's see, $52 billion utility stock.
That's right.
3% dividend yield. Headquartered in Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to Richmond.
That's a nice base there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But relative to the XLU, its peer group, this one is one of the worst. But maybe like we were talking about with healthcare earlier, maybe it's so bad that it's good. Like this was support back after this company came public, or maybe that's when the XLU was first came to the market. But nonetheless, a major level of support here. This is the 1999 lows in relative terms. So, maybe the investors are starting to rotate into Dominion away from some of those hotter AI utility stocks like the Constellation Energy, the Vistra, go on down the list. Like those are getting hit pretty hard. The OCLOs, the SMRs, I can keep going all day, but this is more of a traditional boring utility. And again, you're collecting 4.3% dividend yield on this. So, probably not a trading vehicle. This is something you probably want to hold and just collect that dividend yield and ride what seems to be like a brand new primary uptrend higher towards these former highs from 2022.
Yeah, so it's a nice bearish to bullish reversal base, right?
Oh.
It's not a leader, probably acting more as a defensive in nature, right? If we compare it to one of its peers. But from a risk reward perspective, looking at the chart, we have a very clean level around 62 or 63, right? If we're below 62, there's nothing to do here, right? Energy is building in this big base. And until we resolve and reclaim that level, it will be messy for longer, in my opinion. So I will rather wait for strength coming back, momentum pick up here, and see a decisive resolution from this classic rounding bottom formation.
Totally, yeah. Shout out to Richmond, Virginia. I've never been, but I'd love to go, Alfonso, to tell the truth. Maybe I could visit the headquarters of Dominion Energy. What else do we have today?
Okay, do you want healthcare? Let's talk about healthcare. GH Hansen,
Dude, what
three
a
month
move.
3 month time frame.
This one's been on an absolute heater, Alfonso, up another
Look at that.
5% today. I bet the RSI, without even looking, is above 75, maybe 80. Let's look. Yeah, 81 on the 14 period RSI. What
And
move in
in the
Guardian
weekly
Health?
as well. So in the weekly is like 82. So
Yeah, man. Yeah. So probably not a great point to be entering a setup like Guardian Health. The ideal entry was back here in August and September when it was climbing out of this multi-year base. But
yep.
this is probably more of a place to take profits if you bought that breakout. So let's look. Yeah, it's probably going to keep going towards that 61.8 retracement level, which is about
Yeah.
8 points higher
118.
from current levels.
Yeah, we're almost right there, right?
Totally, yeah. And like if this one sets up constructively, I think this one has another trade in it. So you could buy this one on strength above 118, targeting these former highs. But right now, I don't love entering the Guardian Health, but this is certainly something to keep an eye on. Like look at it relative to the S&P 500. Just now climbing out of a massive base. You can look at it relative to its peer group. I think Guardian Health is more of a med tech, so like something like IHI could make a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
I'm seeing it like the ETF exposure,
Mhm.
ARK G,
Yeah,
GHG.
totally.
Yep,
Yeah. A
yep.
leader in relative to ARKG, making new all-time highs. So like this is a
Nice.
beast of a stock. But again, Alfonso, it just comes down to your time frame. Like it's super overbought over multiple time frames. So you need to let it settle down, set up again, and ride the next wave higher, which
Yeah.
I
In
think is
fact,
coming. Like this stock is a beast.
look, in fact, it's the fourth largest holding in the ARK G ETF.
Shout out Kathy Wood. She's doing something right over there.
Yep. Nice. Nice chart. This is a great chart. This relative trend, it's a really nice and clean way to show recent leadership, right? And if that breakout holds, look, it's very hard again. It's really hard to bet against this stock.
Yeah, this is not a stock I would bet against, Alfonso. Definitely not. And you're seeing bull market rotation into not just like pharmaceuticals and biotech, but you're seeing it drip down the scale into things like med tech. Exactly what.
Yeah, in most recent days, that strength within healthcare has expanded underneath the surface and other areas aside of biotech and pharmaceuticals. So, yeah, this is a good example.
All right, let's hope this next ticker is another healthcare name. I'm super into it.
Okay,
What do we
let's
have,
take a look
Alfonso?
from the chat. Let's see.
I see we have a lot of tickers in there. Keep them coming, guys. Let's
Yeah,
get
so
some good charts.
John is asking for an oil and gas IPCO. Any thoughts on that?
Um, I don't know, Alfonso. This is a new one for me. The
Yeah, I know, but this
International
is
Petroleum Corp. This is a $3 billion oil and gas stock headquartered in Vancouver, Canada.
yeah,
Vancouver is not
a
really
Canadian
known for
one.
the oil and gas. It's a lot of
It-
rocks over there, but
yeah, it's a Canadian one. Doesn't trade in the
yes,
United
sir.
States.
So, not a lot of history with this one.
Yep.
I think maybe fibbing out this 2020 decline could give us a good extension level to look at. Let's see if that's the case, Alfonso. And not super clean. This is just a hard chart to look at.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
just kind of been steadily grinding higher. Not a ton I can do here as a technical analyst.
But
Aside from just ride the trend higher, you don't have a big base to define your risk against. But I'd be
zoom in
interested.
a little bit. Zoom in a little bit.
Let's look at the relative
The
trend.
relative trend.
Let's
Yeah.
see if this one's a leader. And sure enough, I mean, wow, Alfonso, Canadian energy, not just imperial oil, but consistently I'm seeing Canadian energy is some of the best energy in the entire world. So this is just another example of that. Let's see, IPCO was what I was looking at. Zoom in. Let's see, Alfonso.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I mean, to play a little bit more tactical in this name, if we're above 2580, that peak from the summer, I think the trend is healthy here, and this is not a failed breakout, right? It's just a retest, a very tactical, short-term retracement here to this former peak.
Totally. So like, yeah, 25 3/4 or so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Looking at, let's see what that extension level is. So 28 3/4. So a nice little short-term trade setting up here. Really well defined.
Very, very, very tactical view in this name.
Totally. But I showed you that relative strength earlier. This one it's much stronger than the American oil and gas stocks like ExxonMobil and Chevron and all those big boys. So I like this name, and I like Canadian energy in general. Shout out to Imperial Oil, probably the #1 oil and gas stock in the entire world.
I agree with you. Yeah, it is the best one.
Yeah. And Canada is such a wonderful country. Alfonso and I were there a few months ago in Toronto, just a few blocks away from Agnico Eagle Mines headquarters, the second largest gold miner in the entire world. That was really cool. I think we ate across the street from the Shopify headquarters as well. So a lot going on there in Canada. I'm into it. It's kind of like a cleaner version of New York City. I
completely agree. That was my first thought.
Yeah, it's the truth. Yeah, I'm into it. I want to go back.
Yeah, me too. But hey,
Mary, please take us back there for Portfolio Accelerator if you're out there listening.
I think we should go back.
All right, Alfonso, what's next?
Let's take a look. I'm interested in, Larry Thompson, one of our friends here. Are we buying the robots here? RQ, and I kind of like that. I like how all the ARKs are digging in at former resistance level, now turning into support. So that's probably the cleanest chart from the ARK. But if you look at ARK F, look exactly the level that it's trying to bounce here today, right at the peak from February of this year, and also the 61 retracement from the 2021-2022 decline. Oof, so very logical spots for buyers to step here and buy these recent retracements in the most speculative stocks out there. So I kind of like what Larry is asking here.
Totally, man. And the 14-day RSI has gotten oversold in pretty much every ARK ETF. So if these are good long-term uptrends, the buyers should step in here and carry this to new highs. So this next swing in the ARK ETFs is really important. You need to see the buyers making new highs, given that significant weakness we saw and oversold readings.
No, and this is a great that's a great point. But also, again, it's not only RQ and the robots here, but also look at ARK F, ARK, ARK X, exploration, innovation.
They've all gotten the shit kicked out of them, Alfonso. Totally.
Yeah. But my point is, all of them are right now at a critical support levels, former resistance, and now, I mean, so far today, buyers are digging in and stepping in here and defending that level. if they can hold those levels, that will be huge for risk appetite.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the bull market stocks, Alfonso.
Exactly.
Speculative stocks. You want to see these working if this truly is still a bull market. You can't have these rolling over and entering nasty drawdowns like they did in the prior cycle. This was um, really nasty last cycle. Like ARK Q alone fell 60%. Like
Yep.
that's nasty. Like if you violate this level and turn this into a failed breakout, like you could see another really nasty bear market for these stocks. So like this is
Yep.
really, I cannot overstate this enough. The bulls
Those are big
must
levels,
hold this level.
and put the chart of our X and zoom in a little bit. Zoom in. Yeah, it's right there at the lows from the summer. That's a big level around what, 25?
Yeah, Alfonso.
Very
Yeah.
practical level there. So all of these ARK funds are bouncing so far today at logical levels of big support. And from a risk appetite, perspective, you don't want to see these stocks violate this support and keep rolling over. That wouldn't be good for the bull market in general.
Totally, yeah. And like if you fail to make new highs, like this could turn into kind of a head and shoulders type of setup. Like you already
Yeah.
have a well-defined left shoulder here, you have your head over here. If you are a bear, you want to see a lower high form here around $30. You want to see this former support turn into resistance here and then slam them back towards 25 and try to make new lows. So like,
Yep.
yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. So also, I'm interested in these charts not only because they are bouncing of these support levels. The first step is to stop going down, right? So they are trying to dig in here, hit a tradable low, right? They still need some work to do. However, I like to drop the VWAP from the highs for a confirmation that the reversal is in place. So those are my levels for more confirmation that these levels were held and bulls are back in control of this group of stocks.
Totally. And look at, oh, wow. Fibonacci. Shout out to Fibonacci. It's such a cheat code, Alfonso. Look exactly where this stopped falling, right at the 38.2 retracement level. If in strong uptrends, you don't retrace more than 38.2 of the advance. And that's exactly what we saw here. So, super logical level for the bulls to step in. Now let's see what happens, Alfonso. This 28 level is a big one. That's the VWAP anchor to the November 3rd peak. I think that will be a challenge for the bulls, and I'm going to be watching this closely to see how price reacts at that level.
No. I love this setup. I love what you're saying here. I completely agree. These are great charts and a great point coming from Larry. Nice charts.
Yeah, shout out to Larry. It's good to see you in the chat. I see we have Dr. Phil Perlman in the chat as well. What's up, Dr. Phil? It's good to see you here. Drop us a ticker if you have anything on your mind. I saw you were tweeting about the Google earlier. Man, what a beast, that Google. Yeah, looks great. What else do we have, Alfonso? I think we have time for 2 more tickers.
Yeah, let's do 2 more. Okay, you choose. Merck, CNTA, ETR, UEC, or CRCL. What do you want to say right now?
I think the circle looks pretty. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is interesting, Alfonso. I mean,
Yeah.
if you, this is not like a relative leader or anything. Like this has been so, we've talked about this several times on the show now, like Dominion Energy relative to utilities.
Exactly.
It's so bad that maybe it's good. Healthcare relative to the broader market. It's so bad, maybe it's good. This is another one of those examples. Circle is so bad that maybe it's good. It's gotten absolutely crushed. just from this October peak, it's gone straight down
Terrible, man.
50%, Alfonso. And look at the 14 period RSI bouncing off of 20. I mean, holy cow, they've absolutely blasted the circle, which for those of you that are not familiar, they're one of the largest issuers of stable coins. If you are a stablecoin bull, this is the preferred vehicle. And I think it could bounce like 60% off these former lows back towards this pivot low from September. It's a dead cat bounce, Alfonso. I'll shoot you square, but
Look, it will make sense. It will
that's
make
a nice
sense.
move. Yeah.
And also, what I like from this stock is the short interest. I mean, 15% short interest.
You say 50?
15. Sorry, 15.
1-5. Okay, that sounds more like it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, holy shit, 50%.
It's not bad,
Yeah, I think this could easily bounce 60%, Alfonso, back towards this pivot low from September. I mean, that's super clean.
That will make
risk
sense.
reward.
But only if we're above 65.
Yes, of course. If this violates the IPO low, all bets are off. Circle's going to zero. The stock sucks. Flip the book short. That's the kind of mindset here. But the risk reward is so clean against this low. It comes in at 64 to the very penny. So you're risking $8.50 right now entering for a potential reward of more than 25-30 points.
Nice.
I don't hate it, and it could happen in a very short amount of time. Again, I'll remind you, the RSI is coming from 20. This could bounce all the way back to 50, and that could be a really nice multi-week trade. So I like this.
Look, what else? One more.
You mentioned
you want the
Merck?
CNTA, ETR, UEC.
CNTA. Yeah, I like this one. Let's finish on this one. Some more healthcare. This is a British healthcare stock. $4 billion in market capitalization, working on medicines for oncology. So I'm into it. And it's not every day you come across a biotech stock from the UK, Alfonso. They are not known for their biotech stocks. That's very much an American thing. The biotech industry is very much dominated by the United States. China is coming in now. China has some hot biotech, but historically, UK not known for biotech. But this one looks like a winner, Alfonso. Winner chicken dinner. I mean, look at this base going back to June of 2021. 26 is the breakout level. You're trading at 29 today. And if it holds above 26, I think it's going to 40. I don't think it stops at 40, Alfonso. I think this could easily get to 63.
63? Yeah. I mean, the market
is really nice.
I mean, almost 4 billion market cap. So the upside potential here is huge. And look at that relative trend. Beautiful, beautiful. Already complete that base, pressing up against new all-time highs.
And it's not like I'm benchmarking it versus the Japanese yen or something, Alfonso. Like, this is the Biotech ETF, XBI, which has been red hot, like since the April low. Let's see how much this one has returned. It's up 70% since the April low. So this isn't the Japanese yen that I'm denominating the CNTA with. Like, this is really impressive what this stock is doing.
And it's been the entire cycle, not only right now, but from the 2022, 2023 lows, right? So it's been a leader of the cycle. So, the
Almost
fact that it's breaking out of this monster base, it's only, supports its leadership role in the space. So I really like this one. I love Sam when the charts on both absolute and relative basis look exactly the same. Very risk defined level here.
Totally.
And yeah,
Alfonso, not enough people talk about that. Like, that is very much a cheat code to the market, is to look at the asset relative to its peers.
yep.
And looking at something like CNTA versus its peers, it's very, very clear that this stock is a leader. And if
And in
biotech is
fact,
going to
if you
continue
look,
going up, this is going to go up more.
yeah, and in fact, if you look at this stock relative to the S&P, it's making new multi-year highs. We're not there like at the top yet, at new all-time highs yet, but it's carving a nice base. It's breaking out. So, it's not only leading in its own space, in its own relative to its peers, but also relative to the broader market. So that's the leadership that we want to be buying in bull markets, right? So I really like this name. Before you ask me, this is my favorite chart. Very clean, risk.
Yeah. How can you beat this?
Yeah, and I think this is a great example of the top-down approach that we implement here, right? We start to look at the environment in general, then what sectors are leading, right? What sectors are outperforming and showing relative strength. In this case, in the most recent weeks and months, has been healthcare. Within healthcare, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals. Okay, which particular stocks are doing great and are outperforming their peers? And this is a great example. So I really like this one.
Totally. I'll choose the circle as my favorite chart from today. This is a really bad stock, but maybe it's so bad that it's good, Alfonso. I think a nice little dead cat bounce is coming for the circle group. They've beat the crap out of this stock. It's fallen, let's see, 70, let's call it 80% from its peak earlier this year in June. So I think the rally could be fierce here as it tries to retest this September pivot low. So shout out to Circle. But that's it. I appreciate all of you being here. Mr. Zerby, I see you. Phil Perlman, all of you, thank you very much for being here. And if we did not get to your ticker today, go ahead and shoot us an email, questions@stockmarketmedia.com, and we will include your ticker in the next episode of Chart Request Live right here on Stock Market TV. For now, everybody go out there, try to make some money, manage your risk, and let's see if we can get a nice little rally into the end of the year going here. We have 2 sessions that are looking nice. Let's try to keep the streak going, Alfonso. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it. And thank you everybody for joining us today. And we will see you guys next week. Same time, same day, same night. So thank you everybody.
Adios.